Nokia 6131 NFC, it has built-in RFID reader-writer capability. We've developed a software that uses that capability to write to RFID tags like these button tags, which are going to be used as bracelets or anklets on kids, or these kind of card tags. The phone will be given to a lot of different people who are going to be part of our project, and each person will have a different role to perform. So these roles are configurable in the settings screen, as you can see, and I'm going to cancel out of here. And at the moment, you can see at the top our role as the DMU, which is the data management unit. The data management unit is responsible for assigning IDs to the tags at the start of the study, before the tags are given to the enrollment centers and given to the patients. So at the data management unit, the workers are going to issue IDs to the tags. They're going to select the issue ID option. We can have three types of patient: a cohort patient that's part of our study, a cohort patient that may show up at the GP clinic or at the hospital without their tag, or a non-cohort patient. I'm going to select the cohort patient and going to ask for an ID for that kind of patient. I'm going to select submit. At this point, it's requesting an ID from the server. As you can see on the screen, it's saying scan a tag to write. This means that the ID was successfully retrieved from the server, and it wants me to scan a tag to write. Retrieving an ID from the server serves multiple purposes. One is to avoid manual entry of the ID. Second is to keep track of all the IDs that have been assigned to each tag, and keep track of the tags that are out with the patients. So I'm going to scan a tag at the back of the phone right here, and the beep signifies that it was a successful write to the tag, and you can see on the screen that it says ID written successfully. Just to confirm, I can scan the ID back from the tag, and again the beep signifies it's a successful read, and you can see the patient ID that was assigned and written to the tag is 1300643. I'm going to click OK. The next step would be, after assigning all these ID tags, would be sending these tags to the enrollment center. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my role to be the enrollment worker. I go into settings and I'm going to switch my role, and I'm going to save the settings, and you can see the options have changed as far as what I can or cannot do at the EPI centers. Here the patient is going to come and they're going to be enrolled in the study. The enrollment worker is going to take a tag from one of the from the tags he got from the DMU. He's going to scan the tag. It's going to select the scan tag option. It's going to say scan a tag to read. He's going to bring the tag back. The patient ID shows up, and he can write this down on a paper form for a backup system. I'm going to click OK. At this point, what it's doing is, in the background, is sending the information back to the web server, and once the information is received on the web server, it's saved in the database, and it sends out an SMS to a designated phone number. I can go into the status screen, and you can see 0 queued up, which means it has already been able to send the message to the server via GPRS. If you look on our web page, you can see that's our main page. It has a login screen. I'm going to go ahead and log in. And these are our options. Since that was an enrollment visit, I'm going to select enrollment. And you can see a few data in the table, but you should look at the first row, which is the latest event that had happened, and it's now saved in the database, and you can see the patient ID is what we assigned to the tag, which is 1300643. The type of patient that we had used was a cohort patient. The phone number is the phone number of the phone from where the scan happened, so we can track who has the phone, where they're located. The EPI type, the system is smart enough to know that this is the first time the tag was scanned, so it's an enrollment visit from the EPI center. and it also serves to activate the tag. So from this point onwards, the tag is active and can now be used. The scan date is the date time stamp of when the phone scanned it, and the post date is when the server received it and saved it in the database. And you can see it took about 2 seconds for it to get from the phone to the server. Also, the second thing I mentioned was it sends an SMS at this point. Once it receives the information on the web server, it sends an SMS to a designated number, which in our case is assigned to a PDA. The PDA is going to be used to fill out forms that are really tedious to fill out on the phone screen. And now I'm going to hand you over to Julia.
Okay, here is our application on the HB PDAs we've been using. There is a tab here for viewing the SMSs in the queue. I can click on it and I can see that the SMS from the RFID phone to our server application has arrived on the PDA. I can click on it and I can view the details of the SMS. Here we know it's a cohort patient. The place the SMS came from, suppose it was an EPI or a GP clinic. The status of the action taken, so in this case it's enrollment. The tag is active and the date and time stamp. Based on this SMS, I can also open a form that I've created using EpiHandy and imported it into this application. Here, these are all of our forms in our study. I'll click on the EPI enrollment form. EpiHandy is an extremely handy tool to design extremely complex forms that have skips and different data types and entries that you may need in a form. So the patient ID from the SMS has been auto-populated into the form, and I can edit all the other questions quite easily. Example, date of the interview, the time the interview started, the name of the EPI center I'm entering the information at, etc. I can scroll over from page to page, and I can also go ahead and save the entire form. I also have an area that shows me all the questions I haven't answered, and I'm able to click on any of these and skip over to that question in order to answer it. If I choose to save an incomplete form, I can go ahead and do that also. At the end of this process, it'll alert me if I choose to erase the SMS from the queue. I'll say yes.